I'm gonna get, oh geez, I'm gonna get some music up for us. Hopefully you guys will hear the sweet sound of intrigue. And let's see. There we go. Nice. So I'm going to be doing some Marvel Crisis Protocol. We're going to do both a model review and we're going to be doing some painting. I do apologize that we were a little off schedule tonight. I know that we did not do our D&D campaign. Life has just been crazy. I know this week has been like alternate videos and craziness. We haven't necessarily done the content you guys all expect from me. I will definitely be back completely on track next week. But I figured I'd do a little bit more Marvel Crisis Protocol. So we kind of did it out of order, but the only thing I didn't really do was a Warhammer painting video. My goal is to try to, we're going to do some late night drawing tomorrow night. So I know I said I was going to be putting an art show into the rotation. It's going to have to be later on in the evening, so I do apologize for that. But I will get it for you. Lower this funny. But we're going to do some Marvel Crisis Protocol, and I'm going to be doing some more X-Men models. We had already done Sabretooth and Wolverine. You can see previous painting videos of that on my YouTube channel. And I also have done some X-Force members. We did Cable. We have Deadpool. And I'll be actually doing Agent Bob from the Deadpool set, probably as our paint for tonight. And we're going to get these guys built. I actually got more primer in the mail, so I'm back to being able to prime some stuff, which I'm very excited about. So I don't have to build and not prime, so I will get back on that horse. And of course, we'll have, I'm going to try to do some more of that League of Infamy stuff. I wanted to shout out my sponsor for this video, which is Undiscovered Realms. You guys can check them out. There's a link in my channel for that. So please check them out. They are awesome. They are wonderful. And they are amazing. They have all types of board game and tabletop stuff. War games, box games. They have Funko Pops. They have Marvel, obviously Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, and they also have Magic the Gathering stuff. So please check them out. They're good people. You can support them. You can go online and shop with them. They'll ship anywhere in the United States. I believe also international as well, depending on the case. And then, of course, if you're in the New York area, you definitely look them up and find out more about them. So without further ado, let's do a little review of the Cyclops and Storm Marvel Crisis Protocol pack. And then we'll get into building the models. And then we will get into painting some stuff. And as always, thank you guys for joining me. And if you find whatever I said very interesting and want to learn more about Marvel Crisis Protocol as a game, please consider following and signing up for notifications on the channel. It's always a great way to do that. So, for folks that don't know, Cyclops and Storm, of course, are part of the 90s X-Men team. Cyclops has been on the team for a long time. Storm came around later. Storm, Rogue, Wolverine might be the folks that you remember from the team that you might most love, Jubilee being there as well. So, we're going to check them out. At this point, I have almost all the X-Men figures. I don't have the Beast one. So the Beast pack, I do not have that at the current moment. But I do have Magneto and Toad, which I'm going to do those at another time as well. And I love the Storm model in this. So we'll do, as always, a review of what's in the box. Bam. And then we will get cracking to building. And then, like I said, we'll jump right into some painting, because there are quite a few Marvel Crisis Protocol models I have not finished painting yet. So I wanted to get through the X-Force models I have, and then I have a couple of surprises. So you, of course, have some read through the instruction booklet before assembling your miniatures. Be sure, so it kind of gives you some rundown of what to do hobby-wise, and of course, assembly instructions. Sorry. We have the models themselves, and then we have, there are stat cards, what we call affiliation card, not affiliation cards, initiative cards. These are like special ability cards. And then tokens that may be additional tokens for certain things, and also objective tokens if they come with scenarios that have specific objectives that need to happen. I always like to review the cards first, their powers and stuff, and then we can look at the other things. And I love that they always come with these wonderful little baggies. I always stuff these or save these because I can always reuse them. Okay. Oh, and it does come with a scenario card. Interesting. So I'll pop that in there. Alright, so you of course get Cyclops and Storm in this pack. And I like that with the Marvel Crisis Protocol game that you usually get 2 characters per pack. I should mention that this should be $35. So you're getting 2 models for $35. I always say if you're getting into this game at the beginning and you want to get specific characters you like, usually around 2 to 4 characters are going to be a starting team. I'll explain a little bit more about how you figure out a starting team, and I'm actually going to use this as part of that explanation. But that's what I love about this game. For about 60, maybe $90, you can 100% do a customized team. And I say $90 in case you want to use a bigger character or a bigger or larger formatted character. But for the most part, like, you can get the starter box, which comes with 10 unique characters, terrain, a bunch of stuff. It's only $100. So if you split it with a buddy, 50-50, you can get a lot of stuff. So, so we have Cyclops, and so with these cards, let me just pop in to my close-up. With these cards, you'll notice a couple things on the card. We have movement. We have not movement. We have health, so that's their actual health on the card. Movement. Their height. Height is a big thing in this game because height determines if you can pick up objects. It also determines if you get hit by an object, what kind of damage you take. It's also for actual seeing. So there's a lot of different things that height plays a role in. And then there's what we call threat. So 4 threats. So if we look at this, which comes with this as well, this is a scenario card. So this would be the actual scenario you might be playing in the mission. You'll see it says 18, so it's a threat level 18. So you want to add up, your characters on your team can't add up to more than 18. So if you add all the numbers up of threat and it adds up to more than 18, you can't have those guys. But if it's up to 18, you're good to go for that. You're good to go for that scenario. That was weird. Interesting. So for Cyclops, let's review his card. Pretty decent health. Now, each card has 2 sides. So when you see 6, it's 6 on both sides. So he actually has 12 health altogether. This is his, like, I'm okay. This is his I'm damaged side. So they get stunned and then they go to the damage side. Obviously, once you go through the damage side, you're KO'd. Now, there are 3 other attributes I didn't go over, which is fight, psychic. Fight, beam, and psychic. So optic blast, which is that type of attack. Now, the reason why these attacks mean something is that characters will have resistance and may have an ability to reduce damage from attacks from this nature. So depending on the type of attack you're doing, it may have a consequence. So optic blast, you can see it has a range of 4, which there's a template to choose for that. You're going to roll 5 dice. It's 0 to do this, so you don't require any power. After this attack is resolved, character gains power equal to the damage dealt. So when you attack, you get damage for every you get power for every damage you did. If you roll a wild, that's what this means, push. If the target character size is 2 or less before damage is dealt, you may push away from this character small. So you can actually push them further away. So you can push from this character small. So you can actually move further away by shooting them, which is kind of nice because it sets you up for a more devastating attack. Optic Devastation, aptly named. So you see it has B5. What B5 means, it's a special condition marker for range. And then 7 attack, 4 power is required to do this. Concussive force, after each attack is resolved, the target character loses 1 power. So it's kind of nice, like if you're at enough range, you could both evade and get away to make it harder to hit. So you can put yourself strategically out of like melee combat. But then you could also do 2 devastating attacks. So you can do 2 actions per turn with a character, per activation with the character, which is nice. X-Men Blue affiliation, Uncanny X-Men. Once per turn, when an allied character declares an attack action, but before it chooses an attack to use, any number of allied characters within 3 of the attacking character may spend 1 power. For each power spent this way, reduce the power cost of the attacking character's attacks by 1. A minimum of 1 for this action is required. So you can literally spend power off another character to reduce the cost on that character. So it allows you to maybe do a more devastating attack with a character that doesn't have enough power to do it. Field Leader. Choose another allied character within 4. This character gets a swall. And you can basically, so that's a nice way to get other characters to move up to position them for when they get activated. Hit and run action. This character immediately makes an attack action followed by a move action. This superpower can be used only once per turn, so that's kind of nice because you can essentially score like 3 actions in 1 turn. Quick draw. When this character is targeted by an attack and the attack is not within 2 of this character may use the superpower instead of rolling dice equal to its defense. It rolls 5 defense dice. Then, if the character suffers no damage from the attack after the attack is resolved, the attacker suffers 2 damage. So that's pretty cool. You get more dice to roll than your defense, because your defense is going to be whatever your roll is here, so it's always going to be more depending on the attack that he gets hit with, which is awesome. So you can get a more attack and then do some damage back, which is a really cool ability. I really actually like that. Now, when he goes to his damage side, not much of his things change. Yeah, actually, none of his stuff changes. It is all the same. So he is same damage as he is healthy, which is kind of cool. All right, now let's look at Storm really quick. You could already see Storm. It costs more to have Storm because she's a little bit more powerful. She's got slightly different defenses when it comes to the different abilities. Lightning Bolt. After this attack is resolved, the character gains power equal to damage dealt, so similar to Cyclops. Shock. After this character is resolved, the target character gains Shock, special condition. So those are conditions you can have in the game, which will probably nullify them or, stop them from acting. If the attack deals Ice Blizzard, base 3. If this character deals damage, after this attack is resolved, the target character gains Stun special condition, which is pretty cool. Doesn't cost any power for either of those first 2 abilities. Hurricane. So A2, it's 5, it's 4 power. This attack ignores line of sight, so that's pretty awesome. She can hit anybody on the board with it that's in range. And the defending character does not benefit from cover, so you get extra dice of defense from cover. After all attack rolls are resolved from this area attack, each enemy character with the flight innate superpower targeted by this attack overrun damage, so that immediately gets them additional damage if they fly. Allied characters in range of this attack do not suffer damage from this attack, so it does not hit friendly fire, which is good. X-Men Gold affiliation, Uncanny X-Men. Once per round, you may use the leadership ability during this allied character's activation if it is not holding an object token. If you do choose an allied character within 2 of this active character, place the active character within 1 of the chosen character. Additionally, when an allied character is targeted by an attack and the attacker is not within 2 of the allied character has cover. Okay, so there's like a move action you can do there, and then you get cover, which is cool. Eye of the Storm. During the next attack action made by this character within 2, add 2 dice to its attack rolls. Tempest. Choose an interactive terrain feature on an enemy character, both of size 2 or less and within 3, and throw it small. This superpower can only be used once, so you can actually throw, because she does have both wind power. She actually has some telekinetic powers too. Goddess of the Storm. Characters must be within 3 of this character to target it with attacks. Oh, wow. So you have to be within 3. So that's kind of giving the idea that she creates a mist around her, making it harder to hit. Flight, immunity to shock. Yeah, nothing on her other side changes. So on her damage side, nothing changing in there. Alright, so now... it wouldn't be me if I didn't drop some on the floor. Oh, jeez. So first we can see Uncanny X-Men, which is kind of interesting. So they can be on either team. So Storm and or Cyclops can be the leader, and then you can have these other people on there, which is intriguing that they did that. And then we have what we have are our ability cards, and we have Children of the Atom, and that's an Uncanny X-Men. So you have to be a full team that is Uncanny X-Men to be a theme team, essentially, to use this. An Uncanny X-Men character may play this card. Remove all special conditions from this character. It gains 1 power for each special condition removed in this way. Then we have First Class, and that's an Uncanny X-Men reactive. At the start of your activation phase, an allied Uncanny X-Men character may play this card. Each allied Uncanny X-Men character does not have to spend power for the first time they interact with an object token this round. Actually, all of these you have to be affiliated. Interesting. To me, my X-Men. Uncanny X-Men active. This character with a character with the Uncanny X-Men leadership ability may spend any number of power to play this card. For each power spent to play this card, 1 allied Uncanny X-Men character may advance small towards this character. So you can actually move your entire team. Oh, that's pretty awesome. So that's a way to get your whole X-Men team to move up, which I really like. And then we have the scenario, which I showed but I didn't read. Mutant Madman turns city center into lethal amusement park. So that would be arcade, by the way. Place 4 trap target of opportunity as indicated in map B. So map B is a card you use for placement. Players score 1 VP for each trap they control during the cleanup phase. So basically, you control certain areas, you get that. Interact trap. Roll dice equal to the interactive character's defense. If the roll contains more critical hits, wilds, or regular successes, results than the number of healthy contesting enemy characters, the interactive character's controlling player now controls the trap. During the cleanup phase, each player controlling a trap choose an enemy character within 2 of each trap. The controller, the chosen character, suffers 1 damage and gains 1 power. Resolve this trap completely before moving on to the next step. So basically, you control the traps on the board and you hurt other people when they do them, which is pretty awesome. So that's the cards. These are the I'm assuming these are the traps. These are what these things are is so you can put your affiliation on. They're meant for you to put affiliation so you know that the characters are affiliated. And then these are shock tokens and these are stun tokens. So those are different conditional tokens in the game. All right. Alrighty, and then we're gonna get our sprues out, and in very much Marvel Crisis Protocol fashion, we have Storm on one sprue, we have Cyclops on another sprue, and then my favorite thing that they do all the time is give you these fabulous bases. And they also give you a little debris to put on them. I will admit it would be nice if they started to, and a lot of these figures are from wave 1 and 2 of this game. Be nice if they started maybe changing up the base mold for some of the other characters. But as of right now, everybody's been on streets. I've tried to work with making it a little bit more interesting, but everybody's been on a street tile. So it would be nice if they kind of changed it up and did some more. My suspicion is they're probably going to charge for a pack. Might also be hard because they already have given so many of them. I don't know. And then your assembly guide is here, of course, and it looks like we're going to start off with Cyclops right away, so I'm going to pop this out. And what's cool about Cyclops, if you guys didn't notice, is that Cyclops has a little bit of a variant, so you can do 2 different heads on him, which is they're starting with the newer models to give a little bit more variant to it. What I also love about the Marvel Crisis Protocol models is that it's very simple in most cases with them to not always need the instruction manual to put the models together. It's pretty simple most of the time to know what you're grafting on and off. You need probably some help in some cases, but I've been pretty fortunate that I feel like I've been able to build a lot of them without it. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when I build, you guys are not always. You're not always the most super duper fans to it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'm misstepping my bounds, but I feel like the build doesn't always get the same goal. I'm definitely gonna do Scott without his classic. I always liked Scott with the hair. I always liked it with his hairdo out. Could be the 80s kid in me, but because technically this was more the 90s look for them. But I always liked, because I was a huge X-Men. I was a huge X-Men the animated series. So that the X-Men cartoon, I loved it when it came out. So that version of the X-Men has always been my jam, 110%. So I'm totally there. Yep, and then you can see what we have here. We don't really have any. The only variation we have was the head there. The hands and stuff, all kind of the same. And I should also mention with this game that they tend to lean on the comic book versions of things. They have just started to do some of the variations, so you are getting multiple versions of characters. Like they did a second Doctor Strange, and that's from a very specific storyline with Doctor Strange, a newer storyline, funny enough. Put way too much glue on that. Yeah, less is more with crazy glue, so I'm using Gorilla Glue. But I always tell people the less you put on, the better it is. Because then all you're going to do is what I just did, which is have a big old block of glue there. And I'll show you what the consequences of that are. Now every time I touch the model, I'm going to have a little bit of glue on my hand. So what that's going to start to do is you're going to see the model. I'm going to try to put a piece on there. And I'm going to stick to it. Which is going to make me either not put the piece on, or, it's focusing. I had to stop taking the stuff out. But you can see already, just with a couple of pieces, like how nice the mold and the sculpt is. The mold and sculptors at Atomic Mass Games are amazing. The folks that do this game. Also, they do the Star Wars Lineage game. Star Wars Lineage. What's that? What the game's called? Star Wars Legion. Which is a very, very good game as well. And they do that, which is a tabletop model version of Star Wars, where you create a force and go through it. Which I very much I don't know. I don't know if you guys want me to play that game. Sorry, guys, taking all the action away from me. If you're watching, please, don't hesitate to throw up some comments, or I always love to hear what you guys are working on. What are some of the things that you have on your painting tables, or what games are you trying to get into? I'm always a fan of hearing about that stuff. Because we here, I'm trying to get this stuff done for you guys as quick as possible. I'm in the process of also, talking to folks about, doing some in-person gaming, doing some events. But I have to tell you that with COVID stuff on the rise and a few other odds and ends, it's been a little bit difficult to get some stuff going. So it has been a little bit of a struggle, at least a little bit in my local community, because folks are worried, and it's just a whole nother dynamic of things. So, and I 100% get that for people. Like, it is not a good time to be, going through stuff. We're all trying to, in our best way, make sense of it all. Oops, sorry. Sorry, guys. Oh, okay, there we go. I'm trying to do like a dry fit here to see how that piece is going to interact. And I always say this whenever I'm doing the Marvel stuff. If you guys even want to just talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you want to talk about Marvel related things, you want to geek out with me on some comic book related stuff, don't think that you have to stick in the realm of. Oh, I think I missed it. Yeah, I missed the foot. Don't think you have to stay in the realm of like board games and stuff. I'm open to talk about any of the stuff out there, because obviously we got What If, we got Marvel stuff is starting to pop out. We're getting some more entertainment. We got Shang-Chi coming out. So oh, that's the first time I've ever done that. Oh my god, it glued it. Glued it to the instruction manual. That's pretty funny. I mean, not gonna matter because it's the bottom, but that's pretty epically funny. It's pretty funny. Okay, maybe it is. Okay, oh. I'm just doing real well tonight. I mean, that is pretty fast. They did get Cyclops kind of done really fast. lied. All right, let's do a quick. Oh. All right, so let's do a review of him. I like the detail on him, like definitely very much classic Cyclops. He's ready to do his, optic blast. And again, one of the things I love about Marvel Crisis Protocol so much is exactly what you're seeing here. They're so good about hiding the seams in the costume. So, like, you may have an issue like I did where, I mean, not an issue because that actually is meant to be that way, but you may have a seam that's a little bit more separated than others, and they do such a good job of putting the seams on the costume lines that it really doesn't make a difference, even if you got to fill it in a little bit. I always like putting the one with the grate. For bases. Now, what's interesting about this model, I don't know what it is. I think it has to do with when the super glue gets stuck on my hands, then I start getting like really. But they are nicely printed and very slick. So, but it's just so clean. You don't have a lot of bad lines on them. You don't have to do too much sanding because they also make their sprues in areas that are nice. So just great quality models. And what I say to everybody who plays this game is that I love that every model you buy, you could display as a Marvel fan. So you're really collecting statues. That's how I look at it if I decide to never play the game again. And then there you go. Sprues are all done. We have that alternate Cyclops head, which I could have went with the traditional visor down. I like them with the hair. I always think the hair looks cooler, and that's, like I said, the version that I was. And I also, you guys may notice, I changed my painting rack. I'm actually going to buy more from this company. It's called Wizard Desk, and it's so much nicer the way that they do stuff, and everything seems very organized. It just seems cleaner than my other thing. Part of it was also that the other thing I had, not that it was bad, but I bought one that didn't really fit the right painting pods. Because I was using the traditional Citadel paints, and I started using the contrast, and once I did that, they were actually bigger. So that kind of screwed me up. Alright, let's get Storm done now. I'm so congested. Ooh. Okay, so the first thing on this model, which I am not a fan of, is what I'm doing right now. So there's essentially, I don't know if you got, I'm going to try to show you guys. You have to glue the front part of her head. Can you guys see it? Is it going to focus my camera? There we go. You have to glue the front part of her head onto here. And it is not the quickest glue there. It is it's extremely tight and it's extremely small. So I really should be probably using my tweezers. Should really be using my tweezers. Yeah, this is one of those moments where, like, I will most certainly probably glue my fingers together. All right, now I already can see an issue. Sorry, guys. Hold on. I'll show you what the issue was in a minute. I'm trying to... This is a really, really delicate fix. Wow. Okay, I got it. So it was really hard to... It probably is hard to tell now, but there was a little bit of extra sprue on there, and I had to cut down right under the chin. But you have to be real careful because, of course, the thing I didn't want to do was cut into her head. Because if I did that, I would, you know, super ruin the model. And it's weird. The Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, it has a bigger scale. But I still feel like when you're doing, like, so it's a bigger scale for most characters, but when you're doing people, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the scale is that much bigger. It just feels like with people, the scale is actually kind of small still. I don't know why that is. It just always feels that way. It always feels like it's... Now, one thing that you got to be real careful with, I'm going to show you guys, is on here when you're cutting, and I think I might have cut one, they have little nubs, and I think I cut one of the nubs off a little bit. You got to be careful you don't cut those off completely. It's not the end of the world, but what's nice about this company is they are very particular about putting those there so you could fit your pieces together. And if you miss them, it just becomes then you having to a little bit more eye line it up rather than doing it a little bit easier with what they provided. Because you're going to see when I pop out these hands, and like I said, I'm basically, not that I'm not doing this by looking at the instructions, but I kind of am not. I'm sort of just popping out the pieces and just looking at what I should have, and then going from there. But you could see, like, right here, that's why those nubs were there. Okay, this is going to be a challenging model build. So those nubs were there so that I could Now, what's interesting about stuff like this with the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff is you're going to see in a minute when I'm doing it. Yeah, so that's the one. That's the one I'm pretty sure I accidentally cut down. So what's happening is, yeah. So what's happening now is that if the nub was on there correctly and it was a little bit longer, it would probably fit a little bit better and it wouldn't be like popping out. But because that nub is not there, it's a little trickier to fit it. Now also, traditionally when I'm doing this type of stuff, this might be a situation where I might have to wait. Yeah, I might have to wait. Yeah, that looks pretty accurate, but I'm definitely gonna have to wait for those arms to dry before I do anything else. Because if I try to put the rest of this on without the arms drying, it's gonna be a nightmare. It's just not gonna work. So I'm gonna pop out the cape piece. So you got to just be careful about those like interconnected pieces, because like I said, I love their models because they take such a detail to the seaming. They also make all their grooves, and what I love about them as a company, every nub and every groove is different. So it's impossible for you to put the wrong piece in the wrong hole, which I think is also unbelievable for them, and I love that. Yeah, so you can see nice and seamed. But I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more just to make sure. Oh man. All right, so I'm definitely gonna try not to do videos this late anymore. I will stick to my schedule, guys. I'm so sorry. I know after the fact you guys are watching the video, so I do appreciate that. If you do watch this after the fact, you know, please consider signing up for notifications when we're live. You know, I mean, I would love for you to be a follower of the channel too, and even more so if you want. I'd love for you to share it out to other folks that you think might also enjoy this content. Oh geez, I'm destroying people. That would be extremely helpful as well. Because you know that all of that support, even if you can't jump on our Patreon or the tip/donation button and some of the monetary ways to support us, it all helps. Now, I always get nervous when there are pieces like this, because these pieces are always tough. As the head just falls right off. All right, let's put this on first, and then I can do the head. Tell you why. Oh, geez. Okay, now comes. Yeah. So there it is. I'm getting too overzealous with the. This is gonna be a nightmare now because I got glue everywhere on this model. All right, so let's do this. I thought that All right, let's get the arm back in. Shoot. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm being a bad host. I'm doing stuff off camera. Yeah, so what I'm trying to do now is I'm just trying to make sure everything lines up. Because that's the problem when you have pieces like this. They have to line up perfectly. And I have to say, with the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff, they tend to do a really nice job where I don't usually have too many lineup problems because they're so... Pop her head on accurately. So you can see where we're at with her. Such a good sculpt. I mean, look at that model. It looks so epic. I'm just going to pop her like that. And then we're going to put the legs together. And also what I like, and I don't know if they do this on purpose. I would like to think that they do. They do a lot in their instructions to like let you let something dry while you go work on a different part of the model, which I really, really appreciate that too from a model building standpoint. Because then you can't, it sort of forces me to not be as impatient as I sometimes am. This is going to be a tough one. It's a tough one because alright, so I talk about I like it. I love how I can talk about how good something is, and then like I get across something like this. So what I mean by this is a tough one is that when you push it together, oh sorry guys, when you push it together, it doesn't naturally line up, and I think her feet are supposed to be they're supposed to be a little uneven, because they don't like, what I like about this company is they don't like to do stagnant models. So they like to have their models have a degree of, like, motion to them. So I always say they look like they're kind of moving. Okay, I think it just fall right off the legs. So you guys can see, I'm going to try to hold her by the cape. Like, so it has a really nice, like, slightly off-kilter legs. Like, everything has a little bit of a tilt to it, even her head. So it looks like she's kind of floating and up. Just a much more interesting pose to a model. And they give you some leeway to sort of play with. So I will say that when you're going to do the lightning bits, which I'm doing now, that is a little tricky. You have to look at the instructions. So, like, I didn't know this bit was going to have to go into the base bit. I would only have known that if I looked at the instructions, because you're going to see in a minute how, and there's literally one little divot on the back of her that's going to complete this shape, which is pretty cool. There we go, found it. Okay. So there was only one way for that to fit in there. So you gotta, that the whole idea of doing like a quick dry fit, really quick, very, very important for stuff like this. Yeah, this is a little tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I mean, I only got one piece left, so I think I know what's got to go where, but what's a little tricky about this one is the way you have to pop this on. There's a little bit of a tricky way to do this. Hey, how are you guys? We're putting together some Marvel Crisis Protocol models. I'm in the process of getting Storm all set. And I'm just putting on the base part now. I'll give you guys a full review of the model in just a minute, and then we're going to do some painting as well. So it's a little tough to see, but you're going to see both a divot part. So there's like a divot on the bottom and this. So you gotta do a little. Ooh. That's a tough one. It's not much to go on. It's not much to actually put the two pieces on, but if you... Yeah, this is... I will say that this is a little on the tough side. What I find works really well sometimes is just to look at it from a different angle. There we go. So if you look at it from the bottom angle, it might give you, the, this is going to be annoying. I can tell already. All right. Oh, I think I flipped it around. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to keep it in the frame. I know I'm doing a terrible job. Yeah, this is a little on the annoying side. There's like a peg and a divot. Oh, jeez. I'm sticking to it. That's why. All my attempts to glue it have failed because I'm both sticking to it, and then when I get it in there, I'm like being impatient. I'm going to stick to it again. Yeah, this is not the best. All right, let's see if I can get it. Because if I get it straight up, then gravity, but it looks real cool. That's all the lightning that she's creating when it's hitting the ground, and it's actually like ripping up the rocks, and it's ripping up other aspects of the... dear God. This is flimsy as hell. Until you get it glued, it's like got a little bit of a pain to it. Because the idea is that when you're done, she's actually you're gonna plug Storm into that. So I don't know if you could see it, but there's a little divot up there. You're gonna hang Storm in the air. So she's literally suspended in midair. But I'm gonna let this dry for a minute because I want that to be nice and strong before we put Storm on there. But that's what I love about this game. They go so crazy for the models. So you can see the Storm we're going to put on there. So you can see it in her back. There's a little divot there. We're going to literally put her on this. So it's going to be an interesting little maneuver we're going to have to do to get that on there. But we're going to have to get her on this dub. So I'm 100% going to wait until this is like super like in there. And I'm going to test it by just like hitting it with some super glue. Yeah, because this is going to be interesting. Is it still like malleable, and is it like if I were to push it, is it going to still come off? It's probably going to come off. Okay. Yeah, I gotta look. Yeah, this is... Oh, man. This is not going to go well. This is gonna be real hard to do. Yeah, Jesus. Did I... Alright, I'm just making sure it's all the way forward. Yeah, this is gonna be a chore and a half. Okay. Let's do this. Let's get this in position. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so that hugs. Wow. Wow, how they fit her in there. Holy crap. Oh, wait. Is she got a... Oh, she does have a leg thing. Okay. Let's get some glue on that. I didn't even see that. See that little leg seam. Okay, hold on. Wow. Wow, boy. That's it. Kiss of death. I got glue on my hands. Alright, so I will say that if I were to have maybe looked at the model a little bit better, I would recommend glue her to the lightning piece before you glue it to the base. They tell you to do the opposite, but it's probably better for you to do it that way because then you'd have this piece already firmly down if you're trying to do this. Wow. Yeah, this is gonna all be my fault because it's gonna take forever for this to dry. I put too much glue. All right. Oh, don't come out of there. Pretty awesome. I love that they did it this way. It's a little on the tough side to just maneuver, but I like that they made 2 points of contact, which a lot of other model companies don't do this. They make it very thin, but they're really good about making structure. Look at that, man. That's awesome, dude. That's so cool. So it looks like she is like literally engulfed in fire in the thunder, and it's hitting the ground. So awesome. So nice as a model. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, their game is like 100% on with their models. Like I've been so addicted. You know, I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan, so like I think no matter what, like I mean the mechanics of this game could have been horrible. I probably would have bought the models anyway. But they actually made a really fun game on top of the models being OP crazy. Oh, that's awesome. That looks awesome. That's gonna be so much fun to paint. The lightning and just the effects on that, unbelievable. So I am taken back by this model. I love the effects with the lightning. I think it did great. So again, this is the review of the Cyclops and Storm pack. We're gonna do some painting now. And then again, for you guys that just joined us, this is what Cyclops is gonna look like. I'll get these primed up. And if you tune in on Mondays, I'm going to be painting up these guys. And eventually we're going to be phasing in some battle reports on those days too. I don't want you guys to think all we're going to do is painting. I will eventually do some of the gameplay. It's just that I'm trying to get all the models done as quick as possible so we can do that. So now what I'd like to do is switch gears and go into some painting. And like I said, if you want to find out more and learn more about this game, you should 100% follow us. And you should sign up for notifications so you know when we are live. We typically do Marvel Crisis Protocol painting on Mondays. We typically do Warhammer stuff on Tuesdays. I'm probably going to be doing some... I may go up to actually doing five shows a day. Oh. Am I actually breaking out from the glue? Oh, that's new. I don't usually do that. I may have to start wearing gloves when I do this. Great. Okay. Or it might just be droplets of glue. All right, so I got all my building stuff out of the way, and you'll see those other guys modeled later. So what we're going to do now is paint up Agent Bob. For folks that are not familiar, Agent Bob is a friend of the Merc with the Mouth, Deadpool. So, if you are not a Deadpool fan, actually, I was gonna say, if you are a Deadpool fan, you actually saw him in, there we go. You saw him in the Deadpool movie, oddly enough. Alright, so I just wanted to get an image up. I mean, I know what a Hydra agent looks like, which essentially you're just going to paint him as a Hydra agent. But what I was curious about was... Yeah, I guess it is warp. Which contrast paint I was going to go for. And I'm going to try my new brush I just got. Ooh, it's a base brush. I'm going to see what it looks like with the contrast. Let's see. My guess is it's going to be too big to do a lot of the areas that I'll paint. Yeah, so this base brush, great if it was a bigger model, not going to be good for this. And if you notice, the base brush is doing exactly what I thought it would be doing, which is it's not really giving us that coating that I like to do. It's a lot more smackling of it. So I'm gonna probably not use this brush, but like I said, I'm not gonna use the brush mostly because it's just so big. I mean, it's good for some areas, but for these models, they have so many like little pouches and details that I'm gonna start to make some mistakes. If it was a larger area like a vehicle or something, great brush, but yeah, not gonna be the brush I want to use this for. And you guys will see the difference in a minute. So when I go over to something like the Artifice brush, and it's a smaller brush, it's kind of the same coverage, but you can obviously I can be a little bit more. know, it's like a trade-off. You get more control, but what I'm also doing is I'm going into those areas I just did with the big base brush, and I'm grabbing some of the paint now. I'm also trying to get a little bit more water on the paint because I don't want it to be so stoic green, but it is definitely the right green. I was actually concerned that I wasn't doing the right green, but this is proper Hydra green. Like, Hydra green should be very... Yeah, because for Hydra Bob, I mean, like I said, you're basically going and painting him as a full Hydra agent. But you can see the difference. Like, if I go over it like that base brush, it gave me a lot more paint lines. Whereas, as you're going to see in a minute, you can see, there we go. See how much lighter I can water down the paint, and I can move a little quicker, but you get a lighter tone to it, and it looks so much better. Whereas with that base brush, it just like sops in. Like, you're not getting the true contrast, like seeping. It's just really, really thick. So like if you were doing, let's say, vehicles or like terrain, the base brush is really great. And that's what the base brush is for. It's really for when you're doing and I hope you guys enjoy or like my Hydra Bob painting. But yeah, the first Deadpool movie, I'm going into his gun. The first Deadpool movie, you actually, they do make a reference to Hydra Bob. I don't believe they call him Hydra Bob, but they make they do make the joke because he's like, he knows one of the henchmen for the bad guy in the movie, and that is a running Deadpool joke. So in the comics, he also has that running joke that he knows all these guys. Yeah, so you could see, just not what I wanted. So I'm probably gonna have to do some lightening of the bottom pants, because I tried it out. I wanted to see what it would do as like, and not that I don't care about Hydra Bob, because I do care about Hydra Bob, but I'd rather try out something like this on a character like Hydra Bob than one of my like better, like X-Men characters or something. I I've said it in other streams, but if you guys are going out there and gonna get into Marvel Crisis Protocol, I will 100% recommend the contrast paint system as an amazing set of paints to do superheroes, because I've said it on other streams. The nice thing about the contrast paints is that they're very vibrant colors. I mean, hence the name contrast. So they work real well for your superheroes, because most of the superhero characters or villains, are in very bright, very vibrant colors. So the paints work really well to achieve that. Yeah, so you can see we definitely have some of the same pooling, but it is not it's not as seamless as some of the other pooling on the figure. So we're definitely going to have to do some work just to bring some of that in there. So now, also, what I get a lot from a lot of folks is they get intimidated about getting in there and painting. So as you can see, it just, I'm not going to say that I learned how to do what I'm doing now without some practice, because it does take some practice. But it is just getting in there and painting. So now I also have magnifiers usually for when I'm doing what I'm doing right now. But I'm gonna forego those, which is a little on the scary side, because it just so happens for this particular paint, I mean, so because he's a Hydra agent, he's got that because he's a Hydra agent, he's gonna have that really, no, he's gonna have the green suit. So that green suit is a little bit problematic, because it's such a dark color that that means you gotta sort of be a little on the that precise side, but you don't necessarily want to jump into painting that wrong. Ooh. So I'm pretty impressed with how close I got on the first shot. I figured this was I might have had to do a little repaint, but no, I actually got it on the first shot. So stuff like that, I'm gonna say it just takes time. That's just practice and doing it a lot. I will say it really is just that. There's definitely some things you could do to help yourself with things like that. There's handles you can buy. You guys are gonna see me test this out, but this is a steady paint handle. So there are some different companies out there that make different paint handles, to put your model on. I recommend those. Something like that's called a brush steady. So the idea behind that is that you take it and you take it and you can lean the brush against it, so it's like easier for you to make those like detailed lines. I am gonna give those a try. A lot of what I do a lot of it just by, it's a lot of feel, and it's a lot of just from painting a lot of models. I can control my brush, I can feel it a little bit differently, and that literally all comes with time. There's no other secret to it. There's no other thing to it. It's just a lot of experimentation and knowing what what my brush could do, and it's a marriage between the amount of paint that you use and the brush itself, the type of brush you use. So like before, if you guys were here and I was saying I was using that base brush, which was real big, I'm like, it's a brush that's way too big for the model that I'm painting. And then I immediately went to the brush I'm using now. Yeah, that's just true. And you can see pretty quickly, the exception of maybe a few little areas, we've gotten a pretty good amount of this model, primed out, because a big chunk of him is green. So and then I always tell people I try to do my painting in stages. So I'm working with one color at a time. Yeah, pretty much, and then everything else is yellow. So he's an easy paint in the regards of he's see the minute that we get that like proper yellow in there, like immediately we just see Hydra. Yeah, pretty much all of his strap work is now. This is where it gets a little tricky, because if that green is still wet, then we may have some issues when we start to paint. We're gonna find out in a minute, and then obviously we're gonna have some touch up with the green. Just go right into that. And what's also cool about, and this is why what I could have done, which I probably should have done, is I could have done the yellow bits first. And the reason why it would have been better to have done it that way is that, let's say I mess up the yellow, I could just paint over it with the green, and the green would just cover the yellow up. So that would have been a better way to do it than the way I did end up doing it. But like I said, because my practice, I'm in the habit of like just doing this stuff so often, and I've done so much painting. I feel more comfortable like making some of those lines, and except when I do something stupid like what I just did. Alright, so we can sometimes fix stupidity. The good news is that the yellow will not really overlay on the green. but it may look sloppier now. So I may have to go back in there. That was stupid, what I just did. And this, I say it sometimes, I could be a messy painter. I'm also a impatient painter. So if I start to see that I'm making headway and like, ooh, I got like all of these different, so I'm gonna I'll have to do some white on that to get that green out. But like if I start to see, I'm like, oh, I'm I'm making a lot of headway and I'm getting all these details of the sky done. I'll immediately go into overdrive and like just start doing stupid stuff and painting really fast. And that's not the way to win. It's not. And a lot of people out there might be saying, well, he's just like 2 colors. This is going to be like the fastest paint that you ever have. But everybody forgets there's a lot of embellishing and details that we may want to go in there and do. And just because he is a 2-color paint doesn't mean that we don't have to go back in and do some touching up and some other stuff to give him all that nice detail. So like you could see already, I got this line, but it's right up against that green. So I'm gonna have to go back in there and do these touch-ups to these angles. And then you're gonna see me go in and do some highlights to actually give that Hydra suit a little bit more highlights. So it's not so basic and flat right now. Because right now, we're just blocking out the colors, and then we're going to go in and we're going to do some highlighting. You know, with the contrast, sometimes you get away with it, and you can really, depending on how the pooling happens, it may be enough detail and enough variation that you just go, you know what, it looks good. But like here, I can tell you already, like I've darkened up some stuff, but I want to get some lighter tones in there too. Because like I said, the green is pretty close, but the Hydra green that you see in the comics is a little on the lighter side. I mean, could he pass as a Hydra agent right now? 100%, he's good. And with the contrast paints, that's kind of part of their MO, is that, you know, with one pass of paint, most people will have something that is somewhat table ready. Like that is a part of the Hydra. Let's talk of Hydra. As I say, very. If you guys have started to watch What If, the Hydra Bob is kind of on point since Hydra is, present in that show. Use a smaller brush for that other finger. Because as good as I am, maybe I can make it. Wait, that's not. No, that is not. Okay, I'm glad I stopped. That is the gun. That is that piece. Now, like I said, a lot of what you're seeing me do is a lot of practice. So like I'm definitely 100% using the wrong brush for this. Nice. And you guys are with us. I love you. Please show that support. Follow us. Sign up for notifications. And then whoa. Glad I just saved that. Now part of why he doesn't look kind of normal has to do more with the fact that messing this up. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do some editing to that yellow. Oh my god. This small brush that I have, I think it's on its last legs because it's definitely doing some stuff that I'm not down for it to do. But we're getting a pretty good amount in there. Like it's not totally wrong. My green is a little, not that it's like bad, my green, but it's definitely trying to be a little bit more on the watery side because I want to, there we go, I want to water down the color. To also emphasize some of the structure of it. And what this technique I'm doing now is I'm trying to put some darker avenues yeah, I'm gonna have to do some like editing to the yellow in general because there's a lot of messy yellow marks there. It's not my fault. It's just I got a little bit of overzealous with the green, so it went on to a few places. And all I'm trying to do now trying to close the gap, but the screen's a little too watery. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So I'm trying to. Now, like I said, if I mess up the yellow, the green is so much darker than the yellow. Oh, sorry, guys. So you can see now that I've gone in and touched up. But yeah, like this, I'm gonna have to redo that. I'm gonna do it throughout, where I'm gonna put some highlights in there because it's just too. And that's gonna be a tricky because there is a yellow strap there that I'm gonna have to do. It's just a tricky angle to get in there to do that. Nice. What time are we at? Okay. So I'm probably gonna go for just a tiny bit more, and then we're gonna call it quits for tonight. But like I said, if you guys are big fans of the Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff and want to see me paint more Marvel Crisis Protocol models, my normal time for doing this is Mondays. I'm doing this now because we had a little bit of an interrupt in the schedule, so I wanted to give you guys at least one video for the week of us tackling some Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff. I'm sorry that we didn't do the proper schedule. I've had a very interesting week this week, so I wanted to, lots of stuff going on between trying to get some other stuff secured for you guys so I can get some reviews and things going, and just family stuff and just the normal life things. Going back to what I was saying before, this is that little detailing stuff that I always like to do. So as the paint dries, you can go back over it to create some darker tones, and I always do that. This is going to create a darker tone for me, and then I might go in and do some highlights, which I'm going to do once I have things looking the way I want. And then obviously we gotta do the base, the box, a bunch of other stuff. So we're getting there. Ooh. Yeah, you guys can see that strap in there now. Now, I don't know. To me, it goes into the crevice, so I think we're okay because it goes into the crevice here too. Now, obviously, Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying my best. I'm sinking a little, so. If I'm hopefully I'm not annoying you guys, but I do sometimes towards the end of the stream I get a little on the woozy tired side, so if you feel that I'm getting to that level with you, I do It is not intentional. It is 100% not intentional. And you guys can see, I don't know what that says. Oh, hot sauce. That's what his crate at the bottom says. Hot sauce, which I think is unbelievable. I love this new tray. This new painting tray is so awesome. Because what I like about it is I don't feel like, I'm never feeling like I'm in trouble where I'm going to have like a problem, I'm going to have an issue, where I'm maybe going to like spill the paints as much as I used to. Go like a little bit more up on this, yeah. Because I'm gonna do the hot sauce in like red, so I want to make it a little bit on the cartoony side. So I'm gonna make it like, because I want to make it look like an Acme crate from Looney Tunes, because that's a little bit more reminiscent of like what Deadpool and him kind of have a motif for, because a lot of their stories when Agent Bob's around is really, really zany. Like because he's this Hydra agent, but he's like Deadpool's friend, so he like helps Deadpool through the comics, and it's very, very funny. So they have like a very interesting relationship. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah, so that'll have a nice old look to it. And I like how it plays off of that yellow very well. If you guys can see, it looks very good. And then we'll do the letters in red. So it'll look both like an Acme crate. It'll also look like kind of a top secret crate, which I'm very much dating myself with that reference. But if you know what I'm talking about. Then you are in the know. I know I always say that I'm going to leave in a minute, and then I find myself painting even more of the model, which I think is kind of funny. But I do think I'm going to have to get going, mostly because A, it's a little on the late side, and B, I've been sitting for a long time because I was doing some stuff before I did my stream. So I've been in a chair for a long time, and I got to take a moment to get up and stretch. Or I'm going to have some other problems. There we go. Look at that. Not looking too shabby, Mr. Agent Bob. Not looking too shabby.
Sorry, guys. I know I keep bouncing. Making sure that we're correct paint there. Because you can see as you paint through and you get all those like little white spots all kind of done, then it starts to make more sense. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being with us. And being excited about me painting Agent Bob, Deadpool's long-lost Hydra friend. I don't know if long-lost is the right word, but... for my stream out there, can anyone tell me the first appearance? What comic did Agent Bob make his first appearance in? Anybody know the first comic where Deadpool, first issue of Deadpool or first series with Deadpool? What is Agent Bob's first adventure with the Merc with a mouth? I'm curious if anybody in the chat actually knows. Anybody know? Does anybody know the first appearance of the Merc with a mouth, aka, well, not the Merc. The first appearance of Merc with a mouth. Most people know that one. But does anyone know when Agent Bob from Hydra, Daredevil, Deadpool's long lost friend, when he made his first appearance? What issue? I have this feeling that many people out there in TV land do not know the answer to this question. I don't know why. Alright, we're going to try the base brush again. Now, we're going to see the difference when you use... because the lead belcher is technically a base, so this is the brush you're supposed to use it with. Let's see what happens. And I am, in fact, going to paint this entire gun silver. I might put some other little details on it, but I'm going to base it as silver for right now. say gun, I do mean bazooka. Bazooka, aka rocket launcher. But yeah, it's such a big area that I wanna get it all nice and brushed up. Now, obviously, for folks that are wondering, I am mostly using contrast paints to paint these guys. Obviously, the lead belcher is not a contrast paint, because there are no metallic colors in contrast paints. So if you're using the contrast paint system and you have to do metallics, whether that be silvers or golds, and you're using all Citadel paints, like I am, you would then be using, you would be using the traditional GW paints for this part. Now, obviously, you can see when you use the base brush for the right reasons, which is the basing, and for a larger area, it works extremely well, because the traditional paints did have that system, because that's the whole idea behind the contrast Citadel system, is that it is supposed to be saving you steps. Because in traditional painting, like what I'm doing now, I'd have to do a couple of more aspects to what I'm doing, aka I'd have to put a wash on it, I'd have to do a bunch of other things. That's why if you look at traditional GW paints, they have the whole idea of base, layer, technical. So you have all these different paints that you layer on top of one another to create your effects. And traditionally, the way that would work is you would do as I said, the base, which would give you basically the undertone color. So you can think of your base color as like your undertone, and then the layer would, as it implies, layer on top of it, and then now I'm making a big no-no, which is I'm again going in with this really big brush to like get these little areas, which I really shouldn't do that. I should go in with small brush, which is the right response to get into the cracks. But yeah, so you'd be using those metallic brushes. You'd be using the metallic paint. You'd be using the layer paints, and then you'd be using the washes on top of that, and then all of that together would create a different tone, a different everything for your piece. What the contrast does is it combines like 2 or 3 of those paints together, so you don't have to sit there and do that. Oh, that is okay, so I was wrong. That is a finger. Shoot. I do have to paint that yellow. You guys are awesome. You've been with me the whole time. I love it. And like I said, if you guys are interested in grabbing more Marvel Crisis Protocol painting, want to see me painting some Warhammer stuff, and again, I paint both Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k stuff. Gonna hold off doing these, but you know what, we're here. We got some lead belcher on this brush. We can do some dry brushing just to get some of these metal bits painted up.
pack in the paint.
So that's a good example of how. So now I'm going to have to go back over this with a wash so you can see it better, because right now you can't really see the H inside of there for the Hydra logo. You can sort of see it, but because I use the silver, it packed in the paint, so you can kind of see it, but I'm going to make it a lot better. Metallic paint's awesome too because it covers up any of the contrast paint stuff. So I always love coming in and painting this stuff, because then you have a nice little detail. Course, and now I have a way in which you guys are gonna see me rust this out, so we can make that grate look a little bit more like a dirty city grate. But now I'm just getting that silver in there, and you'll notice the way that I'm doing it, I added a lot of water to it. I kind of am doing that because I want it to be a little uneven, like it's a worn city grate versus like a nice brand new shiny one. So you can see when you do a little bit more paint, it kind of looks like you took the whole thing, and it's a little bit more on the shiny new side. But we'll get this in a better spot in a minute. You guys can see how we're getting there, and I'm just gonna pop some orange in the back here. Oh wow! So we can do like a red. This red stone that we sometimes find. Now what you're seeing, which is a phenomenon of color, is that, so we put yellow on the bottom, right? Because it's a Hydra agent. So you can see how we're getting a little bit of like a blur there, because yellow and orange are so close in color that we sort of lost his shoe. You guys will notice. So what I'll do is, you guys will see how I'm gonna tackle that next time. We're gonna make something to make that a little bit more obvious, because I want to have that old cobblestone, because then he could be in like a couple of different places. It could be Boston, it could be New York, it could be, other places. But and then last but not least, let's get our chef hat all settled, because what's awesome about him is that, so Agent Bob, for a lot of people who don't know him, Hydra Agent, he usually, where Deadpool and him sort of make their getaway is in the chimichanga truck. So that's where you normally see Agent Bob hanging out with Deadpool, is in that chimichanga truck. So that's why when I did the kit and I saw that they had the chef's hat, I was like, that is 100% where we're going, and I totally want to do that with him. So I'm using the Apothecary White just to give it a little bit of tone. And then that'll we'll play and we'll work with it a little bit, but you can already see we've only been working on this for, I mean, honestly, we've only been working on it for less than an hour. And we already we already have a pretty decent model, you know, that we could take and we could do a couple of things with. Sorry, guys. So just add a little bit of water just to get it in that crevice. So there we go. Now we're getting into a little bit more of that, and we definitely have to do some touching up on the yellow. Yeah, so you can see how like nice and clean this is looking. See, we got a little bit of muddiness here. So we're going to have to do a little bit of just whitening on that to touch it up. Like I said, I'm going to do some lightning. So we're going to do some lightning tones to lighten up his suit a little bit, because it's a little too dark in some areas because it's splotched. But definitely liking where we are with this. It's also true that you have to let the contrast paints dry for about 15 minutes. So a lot of people make the mistake of kind of rushing them and not letting them dry. And you'll notice when they dry, they look a lot better and they'll look a lot different. All right, well, that's going to be it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and the stream. If you want to see more of this, you want to see us do more things, believe me, I'm going to be painting a ton of models. We're going to be doing game reviews, tabletop stuff, board games. I actually have a couple of board games that are coming to me, so please don't be a stranger and check that out. And again, please follow the channel, please sign up for notifications, check out my links down below. I want to then thank my sponsor for this video, Undiscovered Realms, where I get all of my model painting equipment, models, and such from them. They have everything from tabletop games like Marvel Crisis Protocol, Warhammer, board games, retro toys, Funko Pops, collectible card games, you name it, they got it. They ship anywhere in the United States, and I believe they will also ship internationally, although that might be a case-by-case basis. So if you can check them out and support them, please do. There's a link below. You can also check out my Patreon, my website, and the tip/donation button. That monetary support is what allows me to buy the models and other things that I do review and the equipment that I need, and also is helping us to keep doing more and more upgrades to our broadcasting channel. So please
if you can support, please do. You can go to my Patreon and literally support me for $1 a month. It's so helpful, and it would get us to a point where I could start offering merchandise and a bunch of other stuff, but I can't do that unless we have that monetary support. So please, if you can, awesome. If not, sign up to follow, sign up for notifications, and share this video with others too. That's another great way to support us. All right, take care, everybody, and we'll see you. Actually, I'm going to try to see you guys later on in the evening tomorrow. I'm going to do a first ever indie comic art stream. So you're going to see me working on some indie comics, which if you become a Patreon, you will have access to. So please check it out. Please let me know, and hope to see you next time. Take care, everybody. We'll see you at the next video.